afternoon. Why am I different? That's the question I often ask myself. Think about when you were a child and there was an Easter egg hunt, and you're sitting in the classroom alone with the teacher. You're not able to go outside and play with the other children. And the reason why you can't go outside with the other children is because of your disability. Well, the Easter egg hunt is my story, and the rest of the story about disability will be cracked open. Familiar with cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is marked by a condition that has a lack of muscle control, and it also causes. I remember when I was in junior high school, and I was in special education classes, and I was also in mainstream classes. And there was a special hallway for people with disabilities, and every time I would try to run down that hallway as fast as I could to make sure that the other students didn't see me. Well, unfortunately, the other students did see me. And it was a lot of laughter from them, and it was shame for me. But cerebral palsy hasn't always been trying to run down that hallway, trying to get away from the students so they wouldn't see me. Cerebral palsy has been that excited feeling that I felt when I got my leg brace off permanently. I was so happy when that happened, you guys, because I no longer needed that brace to help me walk straighter. That was definitely a sense of freedom for me. Speaking of a sense of freedom, I attended prom. And I know what you guys are probably thinking, prom is no big deal, right? But for me, it was a big deal. My prom date picked me up from my house, and we drove to prom. And I was a little worried and concerned because I have a weaker right leg. So I was worried about the dancing part of it. And everyone's at the prom, they're having a good time, and I'm like, should I dance, should I not dance? But I tried out dancing, and thankfully, it worked out well. But sometimes, when you have inclusion, and inclusion is something that I've always wanted and strived for, I can remember another time where I used to work for SIU Carbondale, and I was a student leader. Now, in the first year, I was the only student with a physical disability. But something happened that I wasn't aware of. I had to walk backwards during the campus tours all the time. We couldn't walk forward. So that was another thing that was really worrisome, and I was kind of afraid. So I'm walking backwards, and thankfully, I did not fall on my face. Thank goodness. Thank goodness that didn't happen. But the other student leaders were very supportive of me and very accepting, and that was great. But sometimes when you don't have that sense of belonging, depression can happen with people with disabilities. Did you guys know that studies have shown that people with disabilities are 2 to 10 times more likely to have depression? Now, why do you think that is? Do you think it's because of social isolation, or do you think it's because of the stigma of just having a disability? That's really something to think about. I can remember another time where I had to go to a CPR certification class for a job. My coworker and I went to the CPR, and the instructor tells me upon arriving, she asked me actually, "Are you going to be able to participate in the class today?" I said, "Sure I can." Well, why not, right? So she said, "Okay." So the people in the class, along with myself, were about to put our CPR dummies on the floor. And the instructor tells me, well, you don't have to put your CPR dummy on the floor. You can use the desk. So I looked at her with a kind of strange look, like, okay, well, sure. But in my mind and in my head, I was thinking to myself, well, why can't I use the floor just like everybody else? I have no problem with that. But I went ahead and I put my dummy on the desk, and completed the class successfully. Thinking about those times and those experiences in my life have really made me think of the person that I am today. The person that I am today has taken a lot of self-reflection. I started to write poetry to help me to express myself more. Education became a vital part of my being because I felt if I was educated, then my disability wouldn't be in the forefront anymore. I started to make connections with others in college, and I started to realize they just wanted to get to know me as a person and not so much focus on my disability like I thought. I realized that my disability does not hold me back from what I want to achieve in my life. Finding the strength to move past my insecurities about my disability has helped me to feel as though I can survive anything. Thank you.